Welcome to Poetry Changes Lives, my book of poetry, history and a thought for the day. On this day, in 1924, the Czech author Franz Kafka died. Well, Kafka's name, of course, is now used as an adjective, Kafkaesque, meaning horrific, uncontrollable, hard to understand, and requiring great courage to respond to. Kafkaesque. Strangely enough, Kafka's stories also have a weird sort of element of humor sometimes as well. I mean, perhaps his most famous story, The Metamorphosis, is about a man, an ordinary man, who wakes up in bed one morning and discovers during the night he's been turned into a gigantic insect, and there's very little he could do about it except sort of work out some response to the horror that he creates in his family and loved ones around him and everyone else. And it's really a story of how man has to draw on inner strength when responding to situations that he simply cannot control or understand. A very bleak sort of outlook. Well, in many ways that kind of situation is similar to warfare, modern warfare, particularly of the kind of First World War trench warfare, where people were, treated like worse than animals and simply herded and left to perish, and they were at the mercy of generals ordering them to do things that were almost certain death. And people who've experienced that sort of battlefield trauma often find it hard to reintegrate into society because they too feel alienated and unable to find anyone else who can understand how they are feeling. I'm going to read one of the World War I poets, Wilfred Owen, perhaps the greatest, or certainly one of the greatest of that group of men who saw such terrible, horrific warfare in the trenches of Flanders. This poem is called The Show, and it's got a lot of very bleak imagery in it. I think Kafka, if he had read this, would understand. Here we are. My soul looked down from a vague height with death, as unremembering how I rose or why, and saw a sad land weak with sweats of death, O grey cratered like the moon with hollow woe, and fitted with great pocks and scabs of plaques across its beard, that horror of harsh wire. There moved thin caterpillars, slowly uncoiled. It seemed they pushed themselves to be as plugs of ditches where they writhed and shriveled, killed. By them had slimy paths been trailed and scraped round myriad warts that might be little hills, on dithering feet upgathered more and more, brown strings toward strings of grey with bristling spines, all migrants from green fields intent on mire, those that were grey of more abundant spawns, ramped on the rest and ate them and were eaten. I saw their bitten backs curve, loop and straighten. I watched those agonies curl, lift and flatten, whereat in terror what that sight might mean, I reeled and shivered earthward like a feather. Gosh, it's such a bleak series of images. How is it that mankind goes on being so unbelievably unpleasant to fellow human beings? Today I ask for inner strength when difficulties arise. Thank you for listening.